begin tonight with an equine twist on the familiar topic of performance-enhancing drugs. In sports like baseball, football, and cycling, PEDs may be an annoyance to fans and officials, but in the world of horse racing, they are causing widespread death. All across America these days, in numbers that are far higher than the rest of the world, racehorses are dropping dead on the track. Behind that alarming trend, experts say, is a rampant drug culture, one governed by greed. Our Bernard Goldberg has the disturbing details.
This is the picture many Americans have of horse racing. The Kentucky Derby, with all its elegance, style, and color.
California Chrome shines bright in the Kentucky Derby!
But there's another picture of horse racing in America, a darker picture.
No, on a spill there.
One of a widespread drug culture that puts both horses and jockeys in danger.
Oh, and going down there.
It's been reported that every week on American racetracks, 24 horses break down and die, many of them in mid-stride. 24 dead horses every week.
I don't think most Americans know anything like that.
I wish they did, unfortunately, because that paints the more realistic picture of what goes on.
Kate Papp is a veterinarian at Penn National Racetrack in Pennsylvania. She's part of an industry that often hides what's going on from the public, refusing to release accident rates and autopsy reports. And when a horse goes down, they cover it up. Literally.
When a terrible thing happens and a horse breaks down, it's all pretty sanitary. A fan pulls up, put a curtain around it.
It's an ambulance. It looks like they're going off to be taken care of.
And that horse is either already dead or he's being hauled off to someplace where he may very well be.
And that's just from playing a sport.
In fact, right after this interview, Papp headed over to Penn National, to an area racing fans never see. It's called the pit. As her assistant videotaped, Papp went about a routine part of her job, injecting a fatal drug dose into another broken down racehorse, putting it out of its misery for good.
Just about everyone knows about the drug scandals in big-time sports, but they're nothing like what's happening in the so-called sport of kings, where trainers routinely drug healthy horses to make them run faster and injured horses so they can run through the pain. And the result is often disaster.
Horses like Prima Zip last fall was in the stables at Penn National and was examined by Kate Papp.
It was obvious he was in a significant amount of discomfort. So we took some x-rays and found stress fractures of the one hind leg.
So you thought Prima Zip needed rest?
I was sure Prima Zip needed rest.
But Prima Zip's trainers wanted the horse to race. Finding another victim, one willing to administer drugs, is never very hard.
One injection takes 2 seconds and makes you $30. And if you multiply that times 10 in one day, that's $300 for 5 minutes worth of work.
Even if the vet thinks that that horse shouldn't be shot up with drugs, some vets are saying, hey, this is how I make a living.
Right.
Prima Zip was soon back on the track, drugged, 2 sources told us, with painkillers that allowed him to run through the injury.
With a lead toward the inside, it's Prima Zip.
For a while, anyway.
Prima Zip pulled up there. Prima Zip pulling up before the quarter pole.
Moments after pulling up, Prima Zip, his leg broken, was put down. The latest addition to a disturbing statistic. American racehorses die at twice the rate of those in England, where drug use is much more restricted. In this country, some trainers use anything they can to get an edge. In some cases, Viagra, pig steroids, cobra venom, even secretions from the South American tree frog. More often, they'll use perfectly legal drugs, even though the horses don't need them, to make them run faster. And for years, the rules have been permissive and unevenly enforced.
Oh, and breaking down was number 5. Oh, and going down Coronado Heights.
But in 2012, at New York's Aqueduct Racetrack, the number of deaths became too many to ignore.
And a spill at the back of the pack there.
I was contacted by the governor's office that there had been 21 race-related fatalities during a fairly short period of time at Aqueduct.
Did it shock you when you saw those numbers?
It was very disturbing.
Mary Scolay is one of the top veterinarians in America. and was appointed by New York Governor Andrew Cuomo to help determine what happened.
Pulling up number 10, West Vegas.